is no, at least to an extent, there hasn't been enough conversation on these issues that young women face. And then when you go ahead to get married, nobody tells you that in marriage, there's a whole different ballgame that you have to face. All the advice, even in marriage counseling in church and all of that is, oh, submit to your husband, submit to your husband, submit to your husband. Be ready in the other room, prepare the food in the other room, all those kind of things in the other room. Not a lot of people are asking the women, how are you coping? Your name, your identity for 20-something years has been this. You enter into a marriage and all of a sudden you lose your family, you lose your siblings, you lose your name. And then you're not supposed to you are expected to automatically adapt to this new reality without adequate preparation. And then the next thing is, oh, where are my grandchildren? Where are my grandchildren? Nobody really talks about, or not enough people talk about prenatal depression. The fact that when you finally get pregnant, that's if you don't struggle with fertility issues, you have some crazy pregnancy symptoms. I, for one, will tell you from my personal experience, I did not know that as I'm dark like this, I could get 3 or 4 shades darker. By the time I looked at myself in the mirror, I could not recognize myself. And nobody prepares you. And the comments that people are making is that, oh, try and rub small powder before your husband finds another woman. Nobody is asking you how you're dealing with the changes in your body. How are you coping with that? Even in prenatal classes, even in the hospital, the nurses and the matrons are not talking about the reality of what pregnancy does to a woman's body and how it affects a woman's mental health. It's all about, oh, I hope you are still shaving down there so that when your husband comes, you can still service him. Not enough is being focused on the health and the mental well-being of women. So fast forward to after pregnancy, you have your child, and then all of a sudden, the things that you thought were natural or normal are not. Things like breastfeeding. You think that breastfeeding is natural, it comes naturally, but not enough women that have come before us tell you that it's not automatic, that you can struggle for days without being able to breastfeed or milk coming out from your breast. And the problem is that some of these hospitals now tell you, oh, we are only baby friendly. We don't allow formula here. We don't do this here. And then you see that these women suffer the post-traumatic stress from having a child. On top of that, we are talking about breastfeeding and how they cannot feed their child, and they are made to feel less adequate than they already are. So the mental health issues of the millennial women is extremely compounded. It's more than just the things we talk about every day. And the truth is that a lot of these women don't speak up because of fear of shame. You are expected that you're supposed to be a well-rounded, perfect woman, a woman that has it all. You married maybe a handsome husband, you have children, and people are telling you, don't worry, it's the joys of motherhood. They are sweeping it under the rug. But the reality is that you look at your child and you may not be able to connect to that child. You look at your child and in the night when everybody has gone to bed and you're expected to stay alone with a crying baby, you're hearing voices. You're not properly educated about postpartum psychosis, postpartum depression. And you find that more and more women are committing suicide and neglecting their children, abandoning their children, drugging their children so that the children will stop crying because there is not adequate information, especially in the hospitals, regarding these issues. So I'm here not to really chastise, the environment and the institutions we have, but just to enlighten us that postpartum depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, postpartum psychosis, schizophrenia, and so many other mental illnesses are not too far from us. Like the earlier speaker said, there are things that even women you stay next to, your daughters, your sisters have gone through, and a lot of them have gone through them silently. They've gone through them without speaking, without talking to anybody, and some are still dealing with them. If you speak to older women, they will tell you that they went through it, but because there's no social media, there wasn't social media at that point, and please, can I have your attention? Thank you. So because there wasn't the rise of social media like it is now, a lot of our mothers did not have the avenue to
Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we just tone it down? Can we please tone it down? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, so now more women are having the avenue to speak up about the issues they are facing with regards to mental health. And the thing is that it doesn't end at marriage and motherhood and all of that. Sometimes it only even affects career. Imagine where you are qualified for a job, you are perfect for this role, but because they say you are pregnant, discrimination, and you cannot get that job. That also affects the trajectory of a woman's life, and of course it will affect her mental health. You see that people who are less qualified than you are moving forward, and you are stuck at home with a child. If you say, oh, I want to get a crash, or I want to go get a nanny or something, sometimes you are even shamed for the choices you make just to have a balanced life. So what is the point of this conversation we're having? The point is that we need to start having more serious conversations regarding mental health and the well-being of younger women. Because what we are seeing in the next generation now is that a lot of young girls are saying, I don't want to get married, or I'm going to have a surrogate. I'm going to just, when it's time, I'm going to get a sperm bank, a sperm donor, and have a child. Because now marriage and family and all of that is being seen in a negative light. And it's almost as if I go this route and all the things that I've seen that women have gone through and women have dealt with, it's not for me. I'd rather not do it. But is that the solution? I don't think so. Because 20 years from now, if you're still having these kinds of conversation, it's going to be a problem. So what are the obvious solutions? The obvious solutions are, like the other speaker said, see a therapist, see a counselor. But another problem now is that when you go to church and complain about some of these things, sometimes the church is not equipped to help you. Okay, we think that church counselors are therapists. They are not psychotherapists. We need to actually seek professional medical help. But now the problem is that some of these medical, alternatives are expensive. People cannot afford therapy continuously. It is quite expensive, and the therapists are few and far between. And in Nigeria, some of these therapists have the peculiarity of bias, because of our culture, because of upbringing, because of religion. Sometimes a lot of women are not free to even speak to some of these therapists. So what do I suggest? I suggest that we have more gatherings like this where these conversations can, continue to be had. Opportunities for therapy and mental health care to be more affordable, so that the average woman, the average man now can actually seek help. And to listen to our children. When your children come and complain to you and tell you that something is wrong, don't brush it off as, oh, youthful exuberance, or take them for deliverance. A lot of people my age will tell you that, oh, their parents took them for deliverance because, they were acting out or things like that. It's not really deliverance. And the fact that mental health issues starts from young adult life, from when people are small, the trauma can metamorphose into a broken individual. And we are seeing that a lot of marriages are breaking today. And it's not just because of infidelity and things like that, it's because broken people are marrying broken people without seeking help. 3 months of church counseling is not enough to sort out psychological trauma. It's not enough. So as we are here now, let's do our best, come together to actually try to improve the mental well-being of women, especially because that is my area of expertise. That's where I'm passionate about. That is where I'm passionate about. Thank you so much.